Okay, so I'll just introduce myself again. So my name's Amanda, and I'm a CSR coordinator working for Kier Construction. So just to tell you a little bit about Kier. So we're part of Kier Group. So I work for the construction sector. So Kier Group is massive. And with the construction sector, we've got 400 projects all across the UK and the Middle East. So you can imagine the scale of it. So on a day-to-day basis, the values that we follow are collaborative, trusted and focused. And these are embedded in everything that we do on a day-to-day basis. So I'm just going to talk a little bit about what projects we've got in Wales at the moment, mostly Swansea and Neath, and what opportunities we've got for people as well. So you may recognise the image on the screen. So that's Neath Town Centre car park, which we completed a couple of years ago. And we've got a current project in Swansea University on the Bay campus. So we've got opportunities for work experience on this project for anyone who'd be interested. And you may be familiar with this project, which is on Fabian Way. It's the new Sancta Maria Hospital. So that's moving from the uplands in Swansea to the new site on Fabian Way. And we have a new project started in a couple of weeks. So we've advertised for a labourer position on this project, which is still open for applicants. So if anyone's interested. And we'll also have work experience opportunities on this project as well. So here's a few facts about the construction industry. So the average age of a construction worker today is 42 years old. The UK construction industry is the safest in Europe. So although the construction industry is growing, there is a shortage of construction workers. Over 320,000 women work in the construction industry in the UK, and construction accounts for 2.6 million jobs in the UK. So the construction industry is growing, and we need 400,000 new workers every year. So I'm going to talk a little bit about different job roles and different routes into the construction industry as well. So in Kier alone, we have 2,000 job roles, so there's a huge variety. I do believe that there is a career for everyone in construction. So there's a couple of the different job roles on the screen. Some you might be familiar with. And there are different roles as well that you might not think about when you think of construction. So you've got the supporting roles like your HR, your lawyers, community engagement, PR, marketing, and bid coordinators as well. So there is a huge variety. So different routes into the industry. So you've got your graduate and your degree route. Typically with your degree, you would study in university full time and then gain employment with your degree. But we do offer a foundation degree programme. So what we do is we employ somebody typically from the age of 18, and then they work on site with us and they go to university 4 weeks of the year. And that usually takes around 5 years, but then they come out of university debt free and they're already doing the job basically. So it's a really good opportunity if any of those come up. A lot of organisations do those. Apprenticeships are fantastic. So your typical apprenticeships are electricians, plumbers, bricklayers, site managers. So you're on the job, you're learning and you're earning at the same time. So the national apprenticeship wage at the moment is £4.15 an hour, but then this does increase after a year to the national minimum, depend on how old you are. And another route in then is your labouring, general building. So it really depends on the role as well, what qualifications, etc. you need. and work experience as well. We take on a lot of people from work experience because for us it's a good way of seeing how somebody works. So we may have somebody in on work experience, you may think, oh, they're fantastic. You know, we want them to stay with us and then we'll employ them after a week. So I would say work experience is great, especially if you don't know if construction is a career for you. So you can try before you commit to anything. And you never know what opportunities will come from your placements as well. So that's it from me. I've put some useful websites on the screen. So our website is kier.co.uk. So we have different, there's different pages on there and different ways that you can apply for apprenticeships and see what work experience opportunities are around. And the Go Construct website as well. So that's basically everything you need to know about construction is on the Go Construct website. So it's a really useful tool. Okay, thank you.
Great, that's brilliant, lovely, thank you. Thank you all for listening. And if you have any questions, you can pop them in the chat box. I have got some questions already.
Okay, fab.
So it's now sort of, if you want to ask any questions, you can unmute your microphone and raise your hand, or you can pop a question into the chat box on the side, and then I can let Amanda know what's what then, okay? So, bear with me a second. You may have already addressed these in the presentation, which was brilliant. Thank you very much. I will pop these in the chat box as well.
Okay.
So, are there random drug and alcohol tests?
Yes.
And
so
if so, how far in advance are they?
So the drug and alcohol tests, no one knows when they're happening. It's only the health and safety manager and maybe the office manager who would know, because she'd have to organise a room for people to go in, etc. So we, depending on the job, if they're high risk jobs like working from height or operating machinery, we do drug test on induction, which is there are people on site who are trained to do mouth swabs. And then we have random drug tests where somebody will come in and select people to be drug tested at random. And if people don't turn up for their drug test as well, that's an automatic fail.
Okay, brilliant. Thank you. We've also got some lovely feedback, so great, thank you.
Thank you.
Hi Amanda, how could a college link its construction students to Kier for work experience, please?
You can just email myself and I can arrange those for you. We're always keen to have students on site, so I can share my email address with you if you like.
Yes, please, that would be brilliant, thank you. If you just pop that in the chat box then, I'm sure, is that okay for you, Robert?
So if anyone wants to send all the labouring roles that we've got on Neath Town Centre, you can email them over to me as well.
Okay, so if you send your CVs, I'll pop my email in the chat box as well. Like I said at the beginning, I'm the employer liaison officer. So if you want to send your CVs over to me, e.walsh@npt.gov.uk, and I'll pop that in the chat box now as well. Next question then, when the building work on a particular site comes to an end, would you recommend your employee for other jobs that become available if they've worked well, if they were reliable and they showed a good work ethic, for example?
Yes, so if we did have another job that was in the area and suitable for that person, we would take them across with us.
Brilliant. I've been looking for an apprentice or trainee carpenter. Are you taking one on?
We aren't taking on any apprentices directly at the moment. It would be our supply chain. So we can always send CVs over to the subcontractors that we're using. And it's always good as well to be cheeky and ask people directly as well.
So if I had a CV sent over to myself, then I could forward that on to you, and that's something that you could look into?
Yes, so I could forward that on to the carpentry contractor that we're using.
Is that okay with you then, Reese? If you want to send it over, I'll pop my email in the chat box then, and then we can go from there then. As an employment support provider, should we be pushing our funders to have a fund that is able to pay for driving licenses and lessons, as there is an obvious need?
I think if it's going to really help the individual to gain employment, then yes, because I know sometimes travel can be a barrier, especially when projects are out of the way or you got your early start and there's a couple of buses to catch in the morning. So maybe worth something to consider.
What age do you accept? I think you've covered that. Is it 18 plus?
Yeah, we have had younger apprentices on site, but they have to be supervised at all times and have a young person's risk assessment in place. So we do tend to take 18 plus.
Is there a minimum qualification level or preferred qualifications or experience needed?
It really depends on the role that you do. I do think though that a person's hard work and what I'm trying to say is skills that you have, people skills, things like that can go a long way as well. Like a strong work ethic can be just as good as qualifications. I personally haven't got any qualifications. I've got GCSEs, but I've kind of worked my way up from different opportunities that have come up, I suppose.
Obviously, because of the COVID-19 pandemic now that we're in, PPE is mentioned a lot. So is PPE provided?
Yeah, so if you were to start a job with us, we'd give you new PPE, but we wouldn't provide boots. And work experience, we'd give you new PPE as well.
Brilliant. But that's something that we could address then within our project as a barrier fund. So if somebody was signed up to the project, we'd be able to look into that then and possibly fund for new boots if that was something that they'd express interest in.
Yeah, great.
Are there roles available for all abilities and levels? I think you've just covered that now with the fact that with your qualifications, but are there roles available?
Yeah, there's roles for everyone, I believe, for all abilities as well.
Would an employer be paid weekly or monthly then?
I think it depends on who you're working for. I think most of the operatives would be weekly. They do weekly timesheets. But like myself, I'm on salary, so I'm monthly.
You've covered the work experience, so there are work experience opportunities available, and that you've said would that then lead on to employment opportunities post work experience?
Yes, it depends on if we have an opening at that time.
So with regards to the fact that you said they're likely to be paid weekly, would they then, how quickly can their salary increase if they were to show a good work ethic or if they were reliable?
I think that would just depend on who you're working for as well. It's difficult to say.
I think, well, do you take individuals with criminal convictions then?
Yeah, we do. We don't discriminate. We would obviously have to be careful with things like DBS checks. If people were on the register or something like that with working with schools.
And would you consider interviewing potential candidates without the qualification? Then if they were successful, they could be sent on to the relevant courses with a confirmed offer of an employment should they be successful.
Yeah, so we've done that in the past. We've taken on for example, a gate person, they need a specific qualification to work for Kier in that role. So we've worked with different organisations to upskill individuals to be put into that role then. So it's something that we could look at.
That's brilliant. Are there any special routes into the construction industry for women and the disabled?
Yeah, so we do work with different organisations to support people back into employment and people who have disabilities. And we can assess then what roles would be suitable for them and make sure that the working environment is suitable for them as well. We do a lot as well of promoting women in construction. I think our Welsh business, 25% are female, which is good.
Fantastic. Has anybody else? There's nothing in the chat box at the moment. Oh, bear with me a second. What are the most common qualifications required before starting?
Again, that's depending on the role. If you were going to be a site manager, project manager, quantity surveyor, you'd need that specific qualification from university. And then again, with your trades, you're going to need the MVQs. Yeah, so it is just dependent on the role.
So are there anybody taking on at the moment? So are there currently any vacancies that you know of that people could send their CV to me in order for me to sort of send them on to yourself?
Yeah, so the labouring position on the Neath Town Centre Retail and Leisure Development, we're looking for a labourer for that project.
Oh yeah, somebody's just asked now, what about general labouring vacancies and CSCS cards? Would they need the CSCS card then prior to going on to the labouring?
Yes, so that's a requirement for everyone working on site. They have to have one of those. For work experience as well, if it's labouring work experience, then they'll need a CSCS card. But then things like admin, because they're in the office, you don't need a CSCS card for that.
Okay, so how many vacancies have you got at the moment then? How many labouring vacancies have you got that you know of?
Only one at the moment for Neath, but there's a possibility that we'll have more in the future because we do have a lot of work on in the Swansea area as well.
And how long are the jobs or the contracts for then generally?
Anything from 6 months to 2 years, maybe longer. It just varies from job to job.
Are there vacancies in Morrison by the DVLA?
We don't, that's the Tan Land project, isn't it? A school that we're building. We don't at the moment. But with that one, it's a lot of groundworks on it. So until after Christmas, when the main works start, then there'll be more opportunities then.
And obviously, you've got my email, so we can liaise with regards to that then when the vacancies become available. Would you consider ages 16 to 18? So the last employer mentioned they preferred 18 plus as it's easier because they don't require adult supervision at all times.
We have taken on 16 plus in the past, so it is something that we would consider. I suppose it depends on the role as well and how much they're going to be on site. Maybe if it was more an office-based role, then they wouldn't go on site that much and then it wouldn't be much of an issue.
Do you have many of those vacancies around at the moment, the more admin?
Not at the moment, but we do take on 2 people every year for our foundation degree. So I mentioned it briefly in the presentation. That's when there's typically 18 plus, but we pay for the the young person to go to university. They go to university for 4 weeks of the year for a 5-year period, and then we basically cover all their university fees, and they're earning while they're on site the rest of the time then.
Fantastic. We've just had another question. Are there any work from home positions available at present?
Not at the moment. I think a lot of people, like myself, I'm working from home at the moment because of the COVID situation. But I wouldn't say at the moment. We haven't really got any vacancies advertised at the moment. Like if anything does come up, I can send them over to you.
That would be fantastic.
Because I advertise through the Neath Council Employee Support Group, which I'm sure you're part of.
Yes, yeah.
So yeah.
But, and you've got my email then as well, so
yeah.
I can share them with the mentors as well.
Fab.
Let me just check the chat box now to see if there's any further questions. Not that I can see at the minute. Obviously, if anybody does have any further questions that maybe they can't think of at the moment, there's some popping up. But am I okay then to forward those questions on to yourself and then feedback that way?
Yeah, of course, no problem at all.
Yeah, no problem. Do you only consider those with transport?
No. I suppose it depends on where the jobs are. If there's a bus route, people are easy to get to site, then I can't see it being an issue. We've had people on site who catch the bus into work, etc. Some people do car sharing. I know we don't encourage car sharing at the moment.
No, not at the moment. Yes.
Yeah. I know we consider everyone, not just people with transport.
Fantastic. And like I said, if you do get any additional questions, then we can forward them on to yourself, and I'll be able to feedback then to any queries anybody may have.
Fab.
Some feedback coming through. Great. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Sorry about my IT glitch.
Technology is amazing when it works.
I know. The timing couldn't have been worse.
Oh, you got back. Thank you. Good info.
Thank you.
So I'd just like to say thank you to Amanda for joining us today, and thank you all for taking the time to join us today. So if you do have any other questions, then please let me know. But thank you very much, Amanda, for the insight into the construction industry.
Oh, no, thank you all for attending the session, and I hope it's been useful.
Very useful. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Take care all.
And you as well. Thank you. Right, it's seeing as we've had the questions and answers, thank you for joining us today. I'm going to attempt to put on a video with regards to a good news story. Bear with me a second, or if Laura or Andrew have got access and you can upload it, let me know, and we'll get the video on.
I'll have a look now and see what I can find.
If Leighton or Andrew are available to talk about construction training that they've got going on at the moment as well with regards to the CSCS cards or the CCNSG that we've got going on as well.
Hi, Mike, can you hear me?
I can, yes, thank you.
Hi everyone, right, my name is Andrew P.S. I'm one of the engagement officers for Communities for Work. We've been with Construction Month this month now. We've been sorting out Site Safety Plus, CCNSG and CSCS training. So if anyone is listening, has got any participants, or there's anyone who wants to sign up for the project, then there is training available to allow people to get into construction. So if anyone's got any candidates who wants any more information, my contact details are on the poster that was shown earlier. But my email address is a.ps, spelled P-E-A-R-C-E, at npt.gov.uk. So if anyone's got any queries about the training, feel free to get in touch with me. Is that right, Dan?
Yeah, that's great. Thanks, And if I just pop this video on now, let me just. Again, we seem to be having some technical issues. My apologies. If I can just say thank you for everybody who has joined us over the last 3 sessions that we've had with regards to the construction month. I've learned a lot, and they've been very informative sessions, and I hope that people have managed to get something out of it, and by attending these sessions that they've benefited from it, and that they've learned far more about the construction industry than they previously knew, and that there are opportunities available for them work experience wise that they may not have thought about previously. So there are options available by signing up to the project, by getting in touch with us. There are ample opportunities out there. It gives you a taster session to decide if that is something that you want to do. So please have a little think, take on board what you've heard, what you've taken on from these sessions that we've had, and please get in touch. And if you need or require any further training, that's something that we can help with. And if you need or require any further information, as you can see that we have popped our email addresses into the chat box as well. So just to finish off now, then we've got our final few slides. So as Andrew discussed, that we've got the route to construction and how we can help with the Site Safety Plus and the CSCS cards and the CCNSG cards as well. Okay, so thank you very much for joining us today, and we've hoped you've enjoyed the sessions. As you can see, the contact details are on the slide for yourselves. If you have any questions about how we can support, please get in touch. And remember, we have this was the last event that we've had, but we are likely to be putting on more events now in November and December with regards to different sectors. get in touch and we can forward the info over to you. Also, if you are interested in any of the vacancies mentioned today, please send your CV over to me. I have popped my email address into the chat box, e.walsh@npt.gov.uk, so we can forward it on to Kier Construction for you. There will be a feedback survey being sent out today as well, so if people have got 2 minutes and you wouldn't mind completing it, then I'd be very grateful if you could complete it, and as it will help us to improve on events going forward, technical issues aside. Also, if you want to watch this event back, it will be posted onto our YouTube channel this afternoon. So again, thank you all for joining us today, and we hope that you've got information to take away with you and have a little think about.